Hello, and welcome to Titan's Review Corner. I'm Titan. As some of you may have noticed, I've gone quite some time without putting up any new videos. I am gratefully sorry for this. This year has been a bundle of stress, to say the least, but thankfully, thanks to yesterday, Marathon 2011, where not this one, where I added this to my collection. I'm in a better mood and actually feel up for reviewing things again. And I had some other stress that I was able to put off for a while. So, let us begin with today's. I'm actually going to do a versus. Now, it's not really anything that exciting. It's just something that I've noticed sometimes that series and other series technically have a lot more in common than it would appear. It is going to be Farscape. Beautiful, beautiful Farscape. And LEXX. LEXX. I used to own a DVD or two of it, but pardon me. It was stolen when I was living in my apartment. So I have seen every episode of each of these. I started watching LEXX on Netflix in January of this year, and how to describe this series? It's so different. It's clearly sci-fi. Clearly sci-fi. You have a living ship that looks like a big bug that our characters have to eat from, use the bathroom, which kudos on them for really thinking about that. That was very out of the box. Characters, technically time travel, though it's more like time going forward, because I was in some kind of cryo sleep. They do that a couple of times. They love to kill off characters. It's very fascinating to watch the progression of this series. And due to, I'm trying to remember what channel, LEXX started on Showtime, I believe. Please don't quote me in case I'm wrong. It started on one of those adult channels, so the first season was very T&A. So you kind of had to get past that to actually see that there was a really good story there, and with really interesting characters, and a plot that you just had no idea where you were going, because everything was fresh and new, and there was just no way to relate, so you had to pay really close attention to that first season, which sort of laid the groundwork for the other 3 seasons. Now, we'll shift gears a little bit over to Farscape, and which actually also ran for 4 seasons. This one, yeah. This last one is actually like bonus stuff, the archives, and then this is the movie. Hard to. This series is also very sci-fi, out there. We're in space. We're checking out alien life, going to different places. We're on a ship that's a living ship, and the plot has themes that are more relatable and characters that are more relatable, even though they're clearly more alien looking in some cases. They still have very human aspects, which you can go, okay, I can understand why that character does this, even though it may be a puppet. Which, Jim Henson Muppets? Yeah, they're there. They're amazing. So, and even though I watched this one, I had started watching this one last year before Dragon Con. I only got about 10, 15, no, I think I got farther than that. Farther than I originally thought, but I ended up having to stop because I just didn't have the time. So I finished this up this year, and then I watched this again because I saw it originally on TV, and I went, oh, that makes more sense. So this is actually one of those, they knew they were being canceled, so they started to work on making a movie, and they left the series on a cliffhanger. Oh, you sci-fi series with your cliffhangers. But, so here we have two series that both have a living ship that went in completely different directions. They still explore other worlds, they meet other races, still completely different directions. How can you, only in sci-fi can you come up with the same premise and go in two completely different directions. And I just remember like how moved I am by some of the episodes in different ways. LEXX had this sort of, will have really, really light, funny episodes and more of a general overall lighter theme, even though there might be mass destruction. We're gonna blow up planets. Right? Okay, that's pretty dark, but yet they keep it so easy and lighthearted that the series has more of a higher, like, almost positive tone, if that makes sense. When you're done watching, you're just like, I had a good time. Should I have had a good time? So then on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Farscape. Same ideas, but it was very heavy, very dark tones. So people trying to overcome their emotions in some cases, or having to deal with the death of a character, and let me tell you, if you want moving, not to say that the other isn't moving, but it's if you want to cry, which, I'm not exactly the person that wants to go watch something and cry, but it's done so well. They could kill off just about anybody in this series, and the way that they do it, you're just like, why are you doing this to me, show? I didn't ask for this. It's so rough. Even sometimes when you know that you've maybe seen ahead, because this was one of those shows that I hadn't watched consistently, so I have no idea where the episodes I saw were. And I'd be like, wait a second, I know I've seen after this. Show, you still got me. Quit it. But it's so good that you just want to keep watching. Now, I'm not going to say that for everybody, because I actually have a friend that was also watching this, and due to one of the deaths, and you just have to say it, there are deaths in this series. There are deaths in both series. She's not sure she's ever going to be able to go back to the show, which is completely understandable. I've had series like that too. What is that? Earth Final Conflict. I was like, this show's kind of interesting. Then the episodes that I happened to catch had my favorite actor in it, who's also in LEXX and Forever Night, and he's not like my top favorite actor, but he is up there. If you guys haven't guessed now, it's Nigel Bennett. Anyways, he was in like 2 episodes, and those happened to be the 2 episodes that I had started watching on. And at the end of the 2nd episode, they're like, oh, by the way, we killed him off. I was like, I'm never watching this series again, ever. Thanks, show. So, it depends. If you're willing to accept the fact that people will be dying in LEXX and in Farscape, it's still very worth watching. I have to put them both on A. I think that maybe, it's so... I have to give it LEXX a solid A. I can't give it any higher than that because the way that it ended was still... like, it knew it was ending, but there still was some stuff that felt left open to me, which I understand that sometimes series can't get to, but at the same time, I'm like, I want full closure. I mean, show stuff blowing up at the end. It would have been fine. No, the whole... I can't say because I do want people to go see it, to watch it. And as far as I know, it's still all up on Netflix. I'm not sure about Farscape. It was at some point. Yeah, Farscape is amazing, and it's so close to that A+. It is like teetering on it. I'm trying to think if... No, they really did get everything. I'm gonna have to give it an A+, and you know how hard it is for me to give that A+. But there's just so many interesting characters, like characters I didn't think would be interesting. They end up proving me wrong. Like, okay, show. I will just wait to see what you have in store for me. It could obviously have been longer, but for being 4 seasons and a movie, they really did a really good job. So that's LEXX versus Farscape. As you can see, there are some similarities. I can't believe that, 2 living ships in completely different manners could end up with shows that are so very different. And yet you could still almost put them in the same category, like subcategory. Anyways, thank you. Have a good night.